Hi guys, I'm just rushing to a train after seeing Arctic Monkeys last night at the Emirates Stadium in London. And here is my review. They sold too many tickets! One of the worst experiences of my life. Nearly expired in a human crush. Straight up. So we turned up and everything's hunky-dory. We've had a few... Hold on, let me do that again. We've had a few... You know what I mean? Had a few ciders. And we turn up and we're absolutely buzzing. And we go in. We're like, oh, we need to get a good spot in the pits because we bought pitch standing tickets. And we look at this big stadium in front of us and we go, oh, let's find a spot in front of the lighting rig because then if we ever need to go to the toilet, we know where to come back to. Bad idea. Because I tell you what happens around lighting rigs, there's like a concentration of people which causes a threat to life. So we get there, we stand there, we watch the support acts. The Hives are pretty good actually, even though they've been kicking around for decades, they're still, good. And then me and my mate decide to go for a wee kind of before Arctic Monkeys starts. And we think, okay, this is probably a good point to leave, go for a wee and get back in time for the show. Bad idea. Already then we knew that where we were stood was a fucking problem. It took us 10 minutes to squeeze out, 10 minutes to get a wee, have a wee, and 10 minutes to squeeze back in. And it was already like, oh fucking hell, like can we even get back in? We're literally, it's not just like, oh sorry, it's like forcing yourself through gaps, you know? See, we finally get back to our other mates, at which point I'm still alright, I'm still quite happy because I'm like, we made it, the show's gonna start, here we go. Everything's gonna settle down soon. We declined the option of sitting in the unreserved lower seats, which are also available to people who bought standing tickets. In hindsight, we should have fucking done that. So we stood, the show starts. For the first few songs, I'm having a great time because like everyone's found their spot and everyone's just enjoying themselves. But then the issues begin because then you've got people thinking, oh, I'm feeling a bit claustrophobic, I want to get out, which is fair enough, but fair enough that you feel claustrophobic, I mean. But trying to squeeze out at that point, it's like you made your bed, like you should probably just stick around now. Or people being like, I need a wee, gonna get another drink. I'm just like, it's not even, it's just not possible. It's not the time. Do you know what I mean? Like nobody go get a drink, nobody go for a wee. You're here and you are staying here for the rest of the show. That's the way I see it. So then after kind of song 5, and the band were playing really well. Alex was on form. After like the 5th song, I start to kind of genuinely get a bit concerned that like this is turning into a fucking human crush situation. Now, what I will say is that I don't go to like gigs very much because I'm into dance music, so I go to clubs where there's like, I don't know, 500 capacity, loads of exits, and sometimes it gets really full, but it's a smaller venue, you know? So like, I'm not a gig kind of guy, so I know there'll probably be people watching this who go to gigs a lot, and they'll be like, hey, that's what it's always like, you just got to get involved. Well, I understand that, and I thank you for your point of view, but if that's what gigs are like, I hate them, and also, I don't think that's what gigs are always like. I'm pretty sure I was at like a bad one, or in a bad spot when it comes to that problem. Like, I was fucking, my ribs were literally getting compressed by the people around me. And like, look, if that's what gigs are like, then fair enough. I just don't like gigs. So I'm like, fucking hell. So I actually like kind of squeeze my way back to this like barrier area because that's the only place you can get a bit of respite from the crush from all sides. And honestly, just spend the rest of the show kind of stood there wishing I was on the unreserved seats, fucking dealing with people who were coming to me asking me to chuck them over the barrier to get saved by the security, people arguing, people trying to push past, people just being dumb. Like, people don't understand like the crowd flow situation. Like, why are you trying to go for a wee halfway through the fucking show when no one can move? So, or why are you panicking? Like, no, don't get me wrong, I was getting anxious, but why are you then panicking and trying to squeeze out? Because then you're making a crush further down the line and you're making everyone else anxious. You know what I mean? Like, if everyone stays still, then there's not a fucking problem. And people think that they're the most important and they need to get out. But it's like, you're making it worse. Just stay where you are. That was annoying me. And then these two blokes started arguing next to me about, literally, it was the funniest argument ever, because they were like arguing, but neither of them could move. So they were literally arguing like sardines with their hands clasped down their sides. They couldn't even start fighting. But they were like, fuck off, like really close to each other, like, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, like this. But they couldn't throw fists because they couldn't fucking move. They were stressed because they couldn't move. And then they couldn't even fight because they couldn't move. And I had to deal with that. It was just right next to me. And I was like, look, there's 3 more songs, just calm down. Like, so I didn't even spend any time really listening to any of the songs. I heard like Body Pain and enjoyed that. Cornerstone was very good. Sculptures of Anything Goes was very good. They played really well, but I just didn't have a chance to enjoy it. And I said to my mates at the end, I was like, honestly, one of the worst experiences of my life. Hey, sell less tickets. Like, whatever calculation you've done to determine how many people you can fit on that fucking pitch, it was wrong. Do it again, minus 20%, and sell that many tickets. I can't imagine that you're going to be making that much less profit that it becomes an untenable fucking, like, financial venture. I'm sure it'll be fine, because you're just making it like an absolute nightmare. There's a subset of people who are in the middle. There's probably quite a bit of space, and or they're probably the type of person to not give a shit, and they're having a great time. But I'm looking around, everyone around me squeeze near the barrier, squeeze around the side of the lighting rig, round the back of the lighting rig. They're having a shit fucking time because you sold too many tickets. And then I'm just like, I'm enjoying the band, but then I'm just like looking at them playing on stage and all the space they've got on stage. And I'm like, looking at them having a good time. I'm like, you don't fucking know what we're going through just for you to get an extra few quid. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. You're just looking out and thinking, oh, they're all having a great time. But like, there's at least a third of us are just thinking, I hope I don't die in the next hour. You know what I mean? It's just like too much. So, look, maybe I'm just a massive fucking nerd and a massive angsty hypochondriac, and I made up this whole thing in my head and there was not a problem. That could partly be true, but having debriefed with my pals who are not angsty like me, they felt the same. As in they understood that it was definitely like way too full, a problem, people were panicking around them and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, yeah, like what's the point? What's the fucking point? Like, you build up to a gig for 9 months, looking forward to it. You build your whole day around it, and then you get fucked over by logistics of the fucking venue. There were so many other things that were shit about it. But anyway, the band themselves, I love it that this is a review of Arctic Monkeys that's not a review of Arctic Monkeys at all. They played really well, actually. Yeah, so that was that. Band, 8 out of 10. Experience, fucking 0 out of 10. However, I did go for a lovely pizza beforehand with my pals, and we had some drinks in the park. 10 out of 10. Lovely day in that regard. Thanks guys, see you next time.